welcome. I'm Nikita Singh and you're watching Check It Out. This week we take an in-depth look into what Signal is. We show you a robot that is helping build cars. And we show you how UK is experimenting with driverless cars. A political firestorm has erupted in the US, and at its center is Signal. In this story, we explain what Signal is. Take a look.
This put lives in danger. An investigation needs to take place.
This week, the American politics was rocked with a different kind of controversy. One that is related to a certain messaging platform. We are talking about Signal. Jeffrey Goldberg, editor-in-chief of The Atlantic, revealed how someone from the Trump administration added him to a group on Signal and shared detailed war plans for strikes on Yemen's Houthis. The group on Signal, where The Atlantic editor-in-chief was added, was called Houthi PC Small Group. The chat included several high-profile leaders, including Vice President J.D. Vance, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, National Security Advisor Mike Waltz, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, CIA Director John Ratcliffe, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles, and several other senior National Security Council officials. If you are wondering what Signal is, here's a look at the app in question. Launched in 2014, Signal is the brainchild of Matthew Rosenfeld, better known by his pseudonym Moxie Marlin Spike. Marlin Spike created Signal by merging two existing open-source apps, one for texting and one for voice calls. Talking about the features. Signal can be used for direct messaging and group chats as well as phone and video calls. The messaging platform is known for its end-to-end encryption and strong privacy features. In other words, messages and calls sent on Signal are scrambled. Only the sender and recipient at each end will have the key to decipher them. Interestingly, Signal's encryption protocol is open source. This means anyone can access the platform's code and use and modify it. Similar to WhatsApp, messages on Signal can also be set to disappear automatically after a certain time. And yes, not 10, not 50, not even 100. Signal allows users to host group chats with up to 1,000 people. According to a BBC report, Signal had over 40 million active users in 2022. Although no current data is available, it is speculated that the app today has over 70 million active users. Signal, a platform built on privacy, now finds itself entangled in a major political controversy, raising critical questions about the balance between privacy and national security in the digital age.
A quiet revolution is electrifying rural Zimbabwe, where three wheels and green energy are rewriting the rules of empowerment. Take a look.
Electric tricycles are transforming the lives of women living in rural Zimbabwe. These e-tricycles are offering financial independence and social empowerment to women in a society that has long been seen as being deeply patriarchal. In many parts of rural sub-Saharan Africa, women are excluded from mainstream economic activities. However, three-wheelers powered by green energy are reversing that trend. Once dependent on their husbands, many women in rural Zimbabwe now own and ride tricycles, eventually becoming their family's breadwinner. This is Anna Bobo, a 31-year-old housewife from rural Zimbabwe. Bobo was once a silent observer in her home, excluded from financial and family decision-making. Today, she is a driver of change in her village thanks to an electric tricycle she now owns. Bobo uses the e-trike to deliver crops for farmers.
My husband now relies on me to cover most household expenses, from groceries including school fees for our children and buying furniture. Before I could not do it, but thanks to this tricycle, I can now also chip in and help.
Called Hamba, meaning go in the local language, the tricycles are powered by solar-charged lithium-ion batteries. The e-tricycle revolution is part of a project started by Mobility for Africa, a local startup. The startup leases electric tricycles to women for $15 a month. The e-tricycles can carry up to 450 kilograms of weight and have a top speed of 60 kilometers per hour. Today, individual women like Pobho can own them through a lease-to-purchase program. Pobho now owns land, has opened a small grocery store, is paying off a car, and has moved her children from an underfunded rural public school to a better-equipped private institution. She earns up to $300 a month, which is equivalent to what rural Zimbabwean government employees, such as school teachers, earn. Beyond material gains, Pobho says the business has helped her gain self-esteem.
Even my husband and in-laws have more respect for me now. No one used to listen to me, but now I have a seat at the table when important decisions are made.
In Zimbabwe, the impact of these tricycles extends beyond owners. These vehicles have significantly changed the lives of many women who utilize them for daily tasks. Gone are the days of carrying firewood, buckets of water, or heavy farm produce over long distances. Due to their design, these tricycles can maneuver through narrow pathways, allowing them to reach isolated homes and vegetable gardens. Affordability is an added bonus too.
In the past, transporting our produce to the market was a nightmare. We would wake up at 3 a.m. and travel a very long distance using an ox-drawn cart. But now it is much easier. We can reach the market on time.
The tricycles are also revolutionizing healthcare access, particularly for women and children.
The
other day I got a call to attend to a pregnant woman. I'm there to respond to emergencies, so on that day, I used my Hamba tricycle to rush her to the clinic where she got assistance.
With each journey, these electric tricycles are not just transporting goods, but driving a profound shift in women's roles. They're a gateway to independence, ensuring that even in the most remote corners of Zimbabwe, women are driving towards a more equitable future.
Forget fixed machinery. Tech companies are working on innovations that might change how factories will look in the future. Here's more.
Meet Apollo, a humanoid robot designed specifically to support human workers. The robot has been put to use at the Mercedes-Benz factory in Berlin. Built by Aptronic, a US-based robotics company, Apollo is around 1.75 meters tall and weighs just under 75 kilograms. Equipped with artificial intelligence technology, the humanoid robot can mimic human movements. Unlike traditional factory robots, which are fixed in place, Apollo is fully mobile. It relies on a combination of cameras, sensors, and AI to navigate complex industrial spaces, avoid obstacles, and respond to its surroundings. At the moment, the robot has been assigned to transport tools, parts, and components throughout the factory floor.
There's one big advantage. The humanoid robot is flexible, so you can basically introduce a humanoid robot in an assembly line, or especially in intralogistics and or quality inspection, and you can basically move it from one place to another.
Due to its human-like hands, the robot is able to grip, lift, and manipulate objects with human-like dexterity. It can even use standard tools, such as drills and wrenches, without the need for any specially designed robotic equipment. This automation, allows human workers at the factory to focus on more complex assembly tasks.
My view is that these robots are going to be a big part of our everyday life, and this is the very beginning of us seeing these robots out in the public. How the workers react to them and really be smart about the way that we push these early into production and then out into the world.
In the future, the Apollo robot will be able to operate autonomously, making its own movement and task decisions. The engineers behind the Apollo have already started training the robot using teleoperation and augmented reality, enabling it to learn directly from human expertise. By taking on physically demanding and repetitive tasks, robots like Apollo could help redefine modern manufacturing. The makers of Apollo say it could soon become a familiar presence in factories worldwide.
Many countries around the world are developing and deploying driverless taxi technology. UK is one of them. The future of driving is being tested on British roads, one complex corner at a time. This story tells you how.
Driverless cars have hit the roads in the United Kingdom. They are currently being tested on Britain's narrow country lanes. The idea is to see whether the autonomous car systems can cope with a road network that often bear no lane markings and allows a speed limit of up to 96 kilometers per hour. These driving tests are part of the Evolved project that aims to turbocharge the rollout of self-driving cars in the UK.
We started off being able to drive on motorways and then dual carriageways in cities. But the latest part is how do we get it to drive in country roads or, complex urban streets where you've got two-way traffic. So we've now managed to join a majority of the dots together, and we're definitely one step closer to being able to go towards a mobility service.
The team is using a Nissan car for the trial with 2 Nissan engineers on board. While one engineer monitors progress from the back seat, the other is seated in the driver's seat, ready to take control in case of an emergency.
There's 15 cameras on the car. There's 4 long-range LiDARs and 2 wide-angle LiDARs on the side of the car. They are all fused together in a data system to basically give the car a 360 view of everything in its surrounding, better than most humans would ever be able to achieve.
We also use 2 production sensors as well. We use the vehicle radar and we use the camera up by the wind sensor mirror as well. So we know their production parts, so we know they're validated and extensively tested.
The car is also equipped with facial recognition technology that helps the system assess whether a pedestrian is about to become a hazard even before they do.
Together with the sensors and some of the software on the vehicle, we obviously want to really understand how can we anticipate risks around the vehicle. And of course, when you see pedestrians on the side of the road, part of the technology was actually trying to understand from people's facial recognition is what is their intention? Are they going to step out in front of the vehicle or not? Because obviously we need to make sure the car will behave in a safe manner.
While automakers and autonomous vehicle software companies have had success with basic driver assistance, functions such as lane-keeping systems, developing vehicles that can truly drive themselves has proven more difficult and much more expensive than many had expected. However, with the Evolved project, automakers are hoping for a solution.
A secret war is being waged, not on battlefields, but in the heart of a buzzing kingdom. We're talking about Tasmania. Watch this story to see what researchers are doing to save the Australian islands' bee population.
A tiny island, a big bee problem, and a solution that sounds straight out of science fiction. A ban on importing bee products into Tasmania has pushed Australia's largest pollinator to accelerate the use of new technology, including artificial insemination. The company says the aim is to protect the island's 6,000 bee colonies against future diseases, including the varroa mite threat.
We are using an insemination device and a camera, and we already collected the semen this morning from the drones, and we are inseminating the queens with about 8 microliters each.
A type of deadly parasite, Varroa mites can severely weaken and kill honey bee colonies. This is what led Australia to ban bee product imports. The ban aims to prevent or slow the mites' spread and safeguard Australia's bee industry. Many experts believe this new breeding initiative could be Tasmania's strongest line of defense.
If it arrives in Tasmania, it's going to cost the business that I manage $300,000 annually.
With the parasitic mite spreading to Australia's New South Wales and Victoria, the experiment's success is critical for Tasmania.
Imagine homes built by robots or assembled like cars. Can technology solve America's housing crisis? Let's find out.
With Americans facing soaring rental costs, companies and state governments are turning to new methods to boost the housing supply. They are relying on 3D printing, modular construction, and factory-built homes to tackle the growing housing crisis in the United States.
We've really reached a tipping point in our country, really over the last few years especially, in a shortage of housing, specifically workforce or attainable housing, which for us, that definition means kind of 80 to 120% of the AMI, the area median income.
One company in Colorado is aiming to cut construction costs and timelines by building homes on an indoor assembly line. These modular homes are assembled inside a large warehouse using techniques borrowed from the automotive industry. Individual housing units are moved along a line with different sections added at each station.
There's numerous advantages to building indoors. One is we have created a system that allows the homes to move every 4 hours. Thus, houses are being built between 5 and 7 days. A typical site-built home has 30% waste. We're at about 3% waste, so a radical reduction of waste. We can build year-round in a place like Colorado that where the ground's frozen or it's cold outside. That allows us to keep building throughout the year, and high quality too. We're all building together, so we see exactly what is happening from station to station.
Once the building has been assembled, it's 90% done. From there, the home is transported to its final location, ready for occupancy within the next 6 weeks. The company Fading West has pumped out over 500 homes in 3 years of operations. Look at this. This is a robotic arm equipped with a hose and nozzle. The arm can move back and forth and extrude layer after layer of a concrete mixture to form the walls of a home.
This is a 3D printed home made entirely of concrete, and we print layer by layer utilizing a CAD file that we slice just like your desktop 3D printer, and we're able to make different designs with it, more curved walls, it has an organic shape to it, and we're able to build very high efficiency, highly structurally stable buildings for individuals who want this type of technology.
It is believed that modular construction such as these could play a significant role in easing the affordable housing crisis, particularly in high-cost areas and resort towns, where middle-income workers are often forced to live far from their jobs.
One of the things that we urge is states, and both the state and federal government, to put money into building factories such as this. Let's say, so if you put in 10 to 20 million to build a factory such as this, then you could build 500 homes a year for the next 25 years, rather than focus just on putting money for specific projects. So again, the repeatability of this makes perfect sense for the shortage in workforce housing in our country.
Modular, manufactured, and 3D printed homes are still a small fraction of new builds. However, as the housing gap continues to grow, developers and policymakers are increasingly exploring alternatives to traditional construction.
Well, that's all we have for you in this episode of Tech It Out. We will continue to bring you exciting new inventions and updates on the latest gadgets. Until then, keep watching WION World is One, and yes, don't forget to follow us on social media. For now, it's me, Nikita Singh, taking your leave. See you next week.